My name is Richard Frimpong, and I'm glad to be your host for the program moderator for today. So basically, we would have somebody coming in from LMI Holdings to give us a brief on what the African Industrial Trade Show is all about. And then we will take it up from there. After that, we will get some questions and answers session on the Industrial Trade Show. And after our first presentation, we will then move on to the Ghana Investor Promotion, that's GIPC. We'll get a message from its Deputy Director for Investor Services, Madam Evelyne Nyarko. And then afterwards, we would also head all the way to the Ministry of Trade and Industry, where we would also meet the technical advisor, who is a panelist, our Honorable Dr. John-Hawkins Asiedu, who's with us. He's the technical advisor for industrial parks at the Ministry of Trade and Industry. And then we would also engage in some Q&A session as well. So once again, welcome to the UK Ghana Chamber of Commerce and LMI Holdings webinar on the African Industrial Trade Show. Without wasting much time, let me quickly do an introduction of my guests. Once I just mention their name, they will just say hi for all our audience to know that they're with us. So we will have our panelists from the Ghana Industrial Promotions Council, Madam Evelyne Nyarko.
Hi, Richard.
Hi, Evelyne. Good to have you on the show. Good to have you on the webinar. So thanks for being with us. Welcome. What are your expectations for today?
Great. I am hoping to learn from LMI, and I'm also hoping to hear a lot of questions, and probably all of us would be able to clarify issues that we do not understand.
Thank you. We're looking forward to that. We're all geared up for that. Okay, so thank you. Let me move on to Dr. John-Hawkins Asiedu. Hi, Doc. Doc, I think you're muted.
Hi, Doc.
Yay. Hi.
Yeah.
Good to have you. Good to have you.
Nice having you too. It's been a while. Yes, sure.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
Yes.
So we are happy to have you on board as an expert for today's discussion and webinar. So good to have you. Welcome once again. I will then move on to the next part of the show, that is of the webinar, and then we will be asking Richmond to give us an exposition on the African Industrial Trade Show. So please, Richmond, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Richard. So I'm going to be speaking on what this whole thing is about in terms of our trade show. So I'll be sharing some slides and just to guide our participants who will be joining us online. Richard, kindly confirm for me if you can see my slides.
Exactly, it's showing on the slides, it's evident, we can see.
Right, thank you. So thank you all our invited participants online, especially, and our guests from the Ministry of Trade and then the Ghana Investment Promotion Center. This webinar, together with UKGCC, is basically to throw some light on the leverages companies in the industrial ecosystem can take and plug into concerning the Africa Industrial Trade Show 2022. This trade show is happening on the 2nd and the 3rd of November, and it is happening at the Tema Free Zones Enclave, precisely the Meridian Industrial Park, and the time is between the hours of 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. for the 2nd and the 3rd of November. Literally, we have just about 13 days to go, and this is one of the platforms to engage and to throw some better particulars on what it is really that anybody who leverages on this platform will get. So what really is the essence or the relevance of the Africa Industrial Trade Show? If you follow me carefully on my slide, I talk about background, I talk about the trade show itself, and then what to expect on this particular slide. But in a nutshell, the whole concept of Africa Industrial Trade Show is to own an industrial platform that is African in nature, that gives opportunity to multi-sector industrial organizations to create a certain level of awareness and to take advantage of the investing community so that they can attract investors or even attract clientele or even be able to communicate their brand position, particularly in these times of urgent need for industrialization on the continent. So the Africa Industrial Trade Show is an industrial promotion platform that is supposed to support trade amongst ourselves. If you've been following the news, by now you know that the Continental Free Trade has, in practical terms, commenced trading, and the inter and intra trade amongst the 54 nations that are expected to be trading on this platform is almost kick-started, and Ghana is one of them among other countries. And so a trade show like this is just a platform to promote ultimately for investors and entrepreneurs and anybody who is in that ecosystem across multi-sector to just project what they do, project the opportunities that exist with them, and to ultimately sell so that we'll be able to achieve our goals for industrialization. So that is basically the essence. And for this particular year, between the second and the third, the expectations for anybody listening wanting to take part and leverage on sale is to be looking out for about 50 multi-industrial exhibition booths, which I'll share some more detail as I go on. Is to also look out for about 100 multinational exhibitors that will be coming on board, to look out for close to 1,000 plus walk-in potential clients. Some are individual, some are retail, some are institutional, and even some delegates as well that will be representing some trade mission offices. An opportunity to also now communicate to the investor community and anybody who walks into this trade show how they can take advantage of whatever you sell or whatever you exhibit. There's another opportunity to also show your brand outlook to the investing community. And so that is another thing you should expect if you join us on this trade show. Again, there are some who would want to sponsor and become partners. There is an opportunity for those as well. And then most importantly, a business forum where we can business match, a business forum where we can hear about policy, government policy, the continental or the regional policy regarding the leverages on industrial parks, special economic zones, and trade in total. And then an opportunity to now unveil Ghana's foremost and largest industrial parks. We project Dawa Industrial Zone and the Meridian Industrial Park in the Tema-Free zones as those. And there are a number of them. The Ministry of Trade will throw some light on them that, particularly in Ghana, the government is committed to making sure that there are huge industrial parks and special economic zones that are coming up to support the work these two industrial zones are already doing. Then finally, there's an opportunity to exhibit. There's an opportunity to participate in a company side visit so that pragmatically you can tell, like a company like Cargill, a company like Barry Callebaut, a company like Agility, over 60 companies that are already leveraging on the industrial park ecosystem and how it is going for them. So these company side visits and tours will now open the doors for a number of us that will want to take advantage of this platform. And so this is
sorry
the
to interrupt you, Richmond.
Right.
Please, I think your slides seem to be stuck on one page. So if we can work it out for it to start so that we can follow your presentations. We're following though.
Have you seen about AITS?
We've at the moment, what I see on the screen is AITS Africa Industrial Trade Show 2022. I don't know if the same for it, but yes, please.
Oh.
Let me see. Quick. How about you, Madam Doc? Can you see the full slides as well?
Yeah, it's stuck on only the first page.
The first page, okay. Yeah. So maybe I suggest. Oh yes, now we are.
Yes, it's moved now.
We are about. Yeah, now it's moving. Yeah, now we are about AITS. All right, so please, sorry for the interruption, Richmond. You can continue. You may continue.
Okay, confirm if you can see this slide which talks about who attends AITS.
At the moment, what I can see is the background. Yeah, now I can see who attends AITS. Yeah.
Okay, so for who attends AITS, so if you missed the first, I was talking about AITS. And so I talked about the background, and then I also spoke about what the whole industrial trade show is about and what to expect. Now I'm talking about who can attend the Africa Industrial Trade Show. You will see on my slide participants. You will see key business sectors as well. Now, on the participants, if you fall within any of these categories I'm going to talk about, then this applies to you. So you will see diplomatic trade missions, you will see international trade agencies, you will see CEOs and other C-suite representation, private equity fund managers, a number of investment houses and fund managers who are looking forward to invest in specific company cases in the industrial ecosystem are also people who are likely to be attending and look forward to seeing them. Then the diasporan investor community also, and then multi-sector industry investors. There are government officials, there are importers and exporters, there are ministries and agencies, particularly those that have a lot to do with trade and industry. And then for a continent like Africa, micro, small, and medium enterprises, very important. You see them because they make up a bigger percentage of the entire industrial system we are building. In terms of business sectors, we are making the Africa Industrial Trade Show specific industry targeted. And so there's automotive industry, there's pharmaceutical industry, there's heavy and light industry, there is a free zone industry, there is textile and garments, not to mention technology, agro-processing, real estate, oil and gas, logistics and warehousing, and then the circular economy as well as the financial service industry. So if any of these sectors or the universe of participants apply to you or anybody you know, then you are the right place. This is the platform to plug into and leverage on. So what really would it take, assuming you wanted to take advantage of the Africa Industrial Trade Show that is happening on November 2nd and November 3rd? What really does it take? So we have specific packages. There is option 1, there is option 2, and there's option 3. Option 1, option 2, and 3 have some basic packages you get. The first basic package is that we are giving you a booth for exhibition, and I will show you the details of the booth size and things like that. And then every accessory you need for the booth to work, like a miniature exhibition show office, is provided as well. And then we brand you, we give you an exhibitor tag, we make provision for breakfast and lunch for your booth managers. We make provision also for an ad in our brochure for the trade show. And then we plug your logo as a participant in our brochure. And most importantly, you get an exhibitor certificate, you get an opportunity to take advantage of the B2B sessions, and then you get branded with our t-shirt. That is option 1. Option 2 has everything in there, plus the high-level B2B sessions, and then also you are able to get some special additions of web banners on our trade show website, and you get to also do interviews to sell to the investor community. Option 3, in addition to all these, gives you a post-trade show publication ad, and then also we dedicate an usherette with company branded logos, and then we give you a special headline interview to sell in the investor community, plus a full color page ad in the trade show brochure. But whichever way, 1, 2, and 3 categories give you an opportunity to leverage on the 2nd and 3rd of November, the platform for the Africa Industrial Trade Show. This is how a booth looks like. One booth, this is how it looks like. And so we would place the company name with this logo on the booth, and then it is the size, the dimensions we have shown here, and then we'll give you a desk, and then we wire it for you with all the things you need for it to work. If it is option 2, you get twice the size. If it's option 3, you get multiple this size, and so you get almost 3 times whatever option 1 gives you. Now, in terms of the layout of how the whole region of the industrial trade show platform will look, this is how it's going to look. So we are looking at high-level exhibition for about 50 companies who would be showcasing in this order, and branding opportunities all around this zone, and for each of the hubs that we would have. And so this is how the outline will be. And at the moment, we have companies crossing more than 50% of this side that have already selected their booth and their positioning, and already they are beaming and working towards the layout for their flagpoles, the layout for how they are going to be positioning themselves, and some of the products they have that they'll be exhibiting. So that is how the layout would be looking like. And then for those who have also shown interest to sponsor, we have a number of investor community partners who have shown some interest to say, we really don't want to exhibit. We have nothing to exhibit, but we want to be on the headlines. We want to be partners, just like we are doing with the GIPC, the Ministry of Trade, the UKGCC. We want our name to be there as partners. And we have a number of them. Some are ministries, some are agencies, some are trade chamber houses, some are diplomatic mission members. And so you look at the packages, and then you decide whether you'll be silver, you'll be gold, or you'll be platinum, and we plug you there. After this session, a number of us that will be interested will send a bespoke kind of package for you to select. But the point here is that there is opportunity also to become a sponsor, even if you are not leveraging on the exhibition. So how do you take advantage of this if you wanted to? It's simple. You just log on right now as we are speaking to AITS-event.com. And when you get there, there is registration. You can register, you can make payments, you can reserve your booth, you can decide which layout you want. You can do literally everything without talking to even anyone. And the team will reach out to you and then close for you for the second and the third. So if it's about booth reservation, if it's about sponsorship, if it's about advertising on our website, if it's about just to know more inquiry, just click and log on to the website showing here, and you can be assisted. In case you don't want to do that, you want to place a call or WhatsApp, the lines are 055-203-0000, and that's a hotline that will be responded to from our call center right away if you send a message. So that helps for anybody who would want to leverage on that as well. So if you are listening, and even this is for somebody you know, if you are listening, watching us online, and this is an opportunity you want to leverage on, please go to aits.events/booth and just click reserve now, and we'll call you out because we don't have many spaces left for this to happen. Thank you very much. And my hope is that we'll be able to answer any questions that you may have. Welcome to the Africa Industrial Trade Show 2022, happening on November 2nd to 3rd at the Tema Free Zones Enclave. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Richmond. Thank you for that exposition. Thank you for that in-depth exposition that you've just given us on the upcoming Africa Industrial Trade Show that will be held at the Meridian Industrial Park inside the Tema Free Zones Enclave. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, the floor is now open for questions. Those of you who have questions, if you have any questions, please, you can type it in or you can raise your hand as other questions are being asked. And I would also entreat all of you to please, if you are not asking questions or on the floor, please mute your microphones and so that we minimize the feedback. So please mute your microphones for those who are not on the floor at the moment. All right, so thank you, Richmond. I have a first question, or maybe I would want you to throw more light on this some portions of your presentation which you gave us right now. I was looking at some chats question that popped up. But anyway, let me ask mine first. You said that if we are interested, we visit the website and then make a booking on the website, and your organization will place a phone call back, will call us back and then give us more insights on it, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
That is correct. So the moment you go to the website, AITS-events, and you click reserve a booth, or you even click registration, the team at the back end will pick up and get back to you in real time.
All right, thank you. And then I would want to ask for participants who are maybe coming in from other African countries or from across the globe. How would the visit facilitation be like? I mean, will you help to facilitate their visa acquisition and then also the accommodation and things like that? What are the things they need to know? Can you throw more light on that?
That is correct. So because it is a Pan-African kind of trade platform, we are expecting that some of our friends and our colleagues outside of Ghana would show interest. And when you do, thankfully, because this is in partnership even with the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, the Ministry of Trade, and the UKGCC, together with the UK High Commission and some other agencies, you just need to show us the interest. And when we notice you require visa to participate, or when we notice you require some assistance beyond just reserving a booth, we'll be able to help you in real time. That is why we had this webinar, so that we have ample time to support as many as who need that support to get them ready for the 2nd and the 3rd of November.
All right. Thank you for that enlightenment over there. Let me quickly look through the chats to see if
Richard, if you indulge me, somebody is asking if they need about 5 booths. Looking at the size, they need about 5 booths. They want to use 3 for the B2B and B2C, and then use the 2 to exhibit some of their products. My answer is that yes, why not? In fact, we have some who, aside the booth they have reserved, particularly in the automobile industry, we would have to create another hub for them outside of the booth, the 50 booth we have reserved for all the participating companies, just so that they can move physically the trucks, the saloon cars, and some of the products they have into that hub, automobile hub, so that people can have a certain feel and look at the quality of the things they are exhibiting. So yes, that opportunity too is there. We just need you to show that interest well in advance, so that whatever is required, we'll be able to support you. I see another request also. Okay, this is asking, if my company is not a free zone enterprise, am I allowed to join this, since you said you are hosting the trade show in the Tema Free Zones Enclave? I mean, this is also a very good question. Yes. So the trade show platform has little to do with being a free zone or non-free zone enterprise. The Tema Free Zone Enclave happens to just be the venue. And really, even if you came into the Free Zones Enclave at the moment, you'll be surprised that you will see free zone enterprises and non-free zone enterprises. I mean, our focus is industrialization. And those that are non-free zone enterprises, GIPC is there to support you. Those that are free zone enterprises, the Ghana Free Zones Authority is there to help you. And thankfully, they are all on also, and they'll have booths there that would also be walk-in booths that you can always reach out to them for some kind of support. So yes, the venue is at Tema Free Zones Enclave, but it has no limitation on the type of industry you fall as to whether it's a free zone or a non-free zone enterprise. So yes, you have the opportunity to join us. If you are a free zone, great. If you are non, it's also fantastic. You are able to also leverage on this platform as well. Okay, another question is it possible to get an additional package of setting up in the enclave even after the trade show? I mean, this is a very good inquiry. So if I understand what you are saying, you are basically saying that if I come and get myself to participate in the 2 days exhibition and the business forum, Beyond that, you would want to locate your factory or your warehouse or something in the tema-free zones, and you're asking if it's possible. Yes, it is possible. At the moment, we have in excess of 70 acres, even though we are nearing maximum occupation. But we have about 70 acres dedicated for companies that fall within the specific zonings and demarcations we have done for occupation. And so, yes, why not? You can reach out to the team and indicate to them that you would want to acquire a location, a land, a location to set up your factory. The good thing is that it is not even just about the land per se, but there's opportunity to also get support in terms of getting your business registered and licensed, the support to even build that type of factory you want if you are ready to do that, and we'll support you to do that. And even to give you some leverages in terms of connecting your produce, your products, either outside of Ghana or within the Ghanaian economy. So it's almost a 360-degree kind of product offering. And when you establish also, we are able to support you with the specific industrial utility like water, like data, like internet, like electricity and things like that, and even warehousing and logistics, so that you are able to keep your goods well. And if it so happens that you have to now export outside, we are able to also help you with the specific logistics support you need to move into the Tema port and the Tema Harbour and then export outside of Ghana. Whichever way, we are able to use the platform of the African Industrial Trade Show to give you every support you would need so that you can be ready to take advantage of the Continental Free Trade platform. I think I have answered all the questions I need to answer.
All right, okay, then we will move on to the next part of presentation, and then that will be coming from Madame Evelyne Nyarko. Madame Evelyne Nyarko is the Deputy Director for Investor Services with the Ghana Investment Promotion Center. So Madame Evelyne Nyarko will have the floor for now as she takes us through some very serious things that we need to know with regards to what Ghana Investment Promotion Center is doing for industrialization in Ghana, industrial parks and the likes. So please, Madame Nyarko, the floor is yours for now.
Thank you, Richard, and thank you, my fellow panelists and all guests on the call. Well, let me just go briefly to what GIPC does. Probably we would have some participants who are not aware of GIPC. So the Ghana Investment Promotion Center is a government agency that was established under the Act 865 in 2013. This is not to say that the GIPC came in 2013. GIPC has been in the system since 1963 and has gone through a number of reforms in terms of its mandate. And so in 2013, the 1994 Act was updated for the GIPC. And in that act, the GIPC was to oversee all foreign direct investments that are registered in Ghana. And so in doing that, we do a lot of collaboration with other ministries, departments, and agencies based on the particular sector you fall in. And so GIPC would normally promote, coordinate, facilitate investments in the Ghanaian economy. And the GIPC is for both local and foreign investments. So though we talk about foreign direct investments, we also focus very much on local investments, as in Ghanaians who have desires to invest in the country. We offer assistance to all of them as well. So apart from investment advisory services, we also facilitate joint venture searches as well. So for instance, there's a Ghanaian company that wants partnership or equity or debt partnership with other investors outside the country. We are able to do the matchmaking if we get the right matching, and then link the two companies as well. And we do a number of investment identifications as well. So we go around the regions. Last month, we were in the Ashanti region, doing our usual regional sensitization tours, trying to get businesses to know of GIPC, to know of government policy, to know of opportunities and avenues that are there in the country from other agencies, and also to gather projects for investment promotion. And then daily we do monitoring of projects as well. So just to ensure that businesses are complying to the laws of the country. In addition to this, we also do technology transfer agreements. Usually companies would be sourcing for some management services from their parent companies, or even local companies could be sourcing for such. For instance, most of these companies that do franchising and other stuff, like KFC, Pizza Hut, Burger King, and all that, there are franchises they've gotten outside. And usually there's an agreement that binds them, and these agreements have to be registered with the GIPC and monitored through the banking system by Bank of Ghana. We also do a number of bilateral investment agreements and treaties, and we do this in partnership with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration. And we do a number of trade fairs and exhibitions. And like Richmond said, we partner with a lot of agencies, companies, institutions, associations in ensuring that investment fairs and promotions are undertaken, and we are there to support in terms of advisory services and all that. And we do a lot of collaboration as well with the private sector, in addition to the government industries as well. And always we try to ensure we are building relationships with our stakeholder and also meeting the current terms in terms of electronic media and all that. So this year you realize we are very active on social media as well. The current acts of GIPC, whilst being looked at, put into consideration the government's agenda for industrialization. I know Dr. Hopkins might, is it John-Hawkins? He might say a lot of things about the government's policy on industrialization and industrial park. And so I wouldn't want to dwell so much on that side, but I also want to highlight the fact that the GIPC Act was set up to ensure that industrialization is improved. And so because of that, you realize that when it comes to the minimum equity requirements, sectors like manufacturing, export trade, and portfolio investments were exempted from the minimum capital requirements. And even Ghanaians who are outside the country and by virtue of their status have denounced their nationality, as in Ghanaian nationality, and have taken up foreign nationality, they were also exempted. And they were exempted so we could encourage them to come back into the country and invest into the economy as well. And in doing all of this, we cannot do it with just government providing lands and other things. I think we all know the problems that we have with our land tenure system. And so we do encourage the use of industrial parks and special economic zones. And so I think 2 years ago, the Ministry of Trade brought up this industrial park policy. And the policy is to ensure that there are at least one industrial park in each of the 16 regions. Government cannot do this alone, and so there is partnership with private sector. And this is why at GIPC, we have partnered with LMI, and we've added LMI to our land banks. And so anytime investors come in and we need to show them lands that are available for investment, LMI is part of the lands that we recommend to them, and they go to look at it. Now we need to look at the importance of these parks. So these parks actually give you peace of mind. So it's not like you are now going to get the land and going to develop it yourself. This is land that has already been developed. You know that it is litigation free. So there is no issue about you contesting the ownership, because that has already been dealt with LMI already. And so you just go in, discuss what you expect, your specifications, and they would help you set up. And we think that this is a better way of ensuring that you have more time to deal with other issues of your setup. And so we would encourage most investors to look at such industrial parks, both the government and the private, of which LMI is part, and make use of it. Also, like Richmond said, Ghana's free zones system is such that you are not restricted to a particular place to enjoy the free zones. So anywhere you are located, you can enjoy the free zones, exemptions, if only you are exporting 70% of what you produce. And so I know that in that industrial park, it could be free zones and also non-free zones. And we know of a number of companies who are non-free zones and are located in these industrial parks. And so to wrap up, I would say that this is a good initiative by LMI to get people to know of what there is in the country, and also to bring together business players for all people to get to know of each other, learn from each other, and do business with each other. And so this is something we have to encourage, and we do encourage that, and we hope to be around anytime we are needed to support in any way, if we can. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Nyarko. Thank you very much. Thanks so much for that. So from what I gather, from what you said, and also from what Richmond said, it means there are loads and loads of services and consultancy services that you render to investors, both locally and internationally. And that you'll be present at the upcoming African Industrial Trade Show, right?
Hopefully. We will discuss that bit further, but hopefully we will be there.
All right. So for all, hopefully, with GIPC is also present there. It helps facilitate everything that's being done for investors and prospective investors as well. Even if in the worst case scenario, GIPC is not able to turn up, like Madam Nyarko mentioned, GIPC is partnered with LMI that is doing the African Industrial Trade Show. So they will most likely link you up and help you liaise with them well. So yes, the African Industrial Trade Show is open to everybody, to every company, every corporate entity in the whole world. Despite the fact that it is called the African Industrial Trade Show, we are helping in industrialization and the developmental agenda of the entire continent. And we're using Ghana as a African Continental Free Trade Area, or AFTA, is actually actualized. And it's not just in principle being actualized, help once you come to this African Industrial Trade Show. Madam Nyarko, I've got some question for you. So suppose somebody wants to be a member of seek GIPC services in relation to what the Industrial Trade Show that is coming on. What is the person or the organization supposed to do? How do they go about it?
Usually our main communication hand in terms of emails is info@gipc.gov.gh. You can send a mail to us and tell us what your requests or concerns are. We will get back to you. If we are not too clear of what you want, we will get back to you, get clarity, and then wherever the assistance is needed, we will link you up with the relevant institution or agency, or if it's GIPC that has to do it, we would help you get through with it as well.
All right, thank you, thank you. And the next question is, what role, what does trade shows like this do to help GIPC's agenda? For example, this African Industrial Trade Show that is coming on, what does it do to help the agenda or the mandate of GIPC?
Yeah, for us, we see it as an additional tool of getting the information out there to all investors. We are trying to get out to people. This year, we've done a lot of this reaching out. Currently, we have a group of people in Germany trying to get the diaspora over there to come in. So we see LMI's action, which is getting, I mean, it's in partnership with UKGCC. We already do a lot of things with UKGCC, but we also see that this particular roadshow would also have participants that probably haven't heard of GIPC, haven't heard of maybe Ghana's industrialization agenda. They've never heard of whatever policies are in place to encourage investment. So for us, this is good for us because it is still adding to the information sharing. It is adding to advertisement, it's adding to building the image of the country as a whole. And it's also helping to ensure that the country gains from the Continental Free Trade Agreement, which I would also try to mention about it in terms of AFTA. So for us, it helps in bringing a collaborative effort in ensuring that information gets out there to investors and investors come in to invest. That's the ultimate actually. And so we are up for it and we think it's good.
All right, please. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right. So we will now head on to our other expert on the panel, Dr. John-Hawkins Asiedu. So Doc is from the Ministry of Trade and Industry, and he is also the technical advisor with respect to special economic zones and industrial parks at the Ministry of Trade and Industry. So Dr. Asiedu, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Good morning, fellow panelists and our cherished audience and viewers. I would like just to give the concept of what government is doing to industrialize our country. The government of Ghana's industrial transformation agenda was conceived to stimulate entrepreneurial development and to promote value addition to primary products. And this means we want to diversify our economy. This agenda also seeks to challenge us to address the challenges that we have in the business environment, to industrialize the economy, create jobs, and to position Ghana as a regional hub, especially now that as we host the Secretariat of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, we need to harness the maximum benefit that is available within this landscape. So as part of this, the ministry has initiated a number of policies to support, promote, and facilitate private sector development and ensure inclusive growth around 10 pillars. Here we are talking about building the competitiveness of existing local industries by facilitating access to long and medium-term financing, implementing the One District, One Factory initiative, introducing strategic anchor industrial initiatives, which will create new growth pools for the economy, as we now have, for example, the auto assembly companies that have come in the country. We're also establishing industrial parks and special economic zones, at least in all the 16 regions of the country. We're also promoting the development of small and medium-scale enterprises. That's why we have even changed the mandate of the SY National Board for Small-Scale Industries into the Ghana Enterprise Agency, which will expand to help our MSMEs develop and take advantage of this huge market that have come in place within the AFTA. And then we're also developing the export trade market so that we can expand our volumes and values in the non-traditional exports and then to improve our domestic retail trading, regulatory and legislative reforms. And then we're also doing industrial subcontracting. And in all, the industrialization vision needs a radical shift in national thinking and policy direction. And government can only do this through encouraging the participation of the private sector and multinationals into the industrial sector. However, as we all know, as has been said already, over the decades, access to dedicated and litigation-free lands and infrastructure required have been a challenge. This situation has discouraged potential investors from venturing into the industrial sector, thereby limiting Ghana's access to substantial amount of FDIs needs for job creation, income, and poverty reduction. And then in order to address this challenge and contribute to the development of Ghana, the ministry, as part of its transformation agenda, is seeking to establish industrial parks in all the 16 regions I've mentioned, with the objective of, one, to develop effective industrial land banks and security systems at national, regional, and district levels to facilitate easy access and planning, enclave planning for industrial development, and also to promote spatial distribution of industrial development, and also to improve access to litigation-free land and access to utility services while spreading economic activities across the country, to provide an institutional framework that may not be available in the rest of the country to foster development economic activities, and then to encourage industrial cluster formation for networking. So as a ministry, what we have initiated is to be able to get the needed investment and attraction in these areas. We need to have a policy that will direct and recommend the necessary incentives that will help attract the needed private sector investment. So consultancy services have been awarded for a consultant to come out with a policy with incentive frameworks that will help regulate the sector. And government is looking at the specific industrial parks with special products and services. We are looking at the agro-processing sector, pharmaceutical, automobile and vehicle assembly, textile, garment and apparel, petrochemical, food processing, IT, equipment, and electronic parks. The government intends to position industrial landscaping around certain industrial patterns. That's why we've identified these sectors. The project is expected to be private sector led, and government will facilitate. And our investment agencies will be in collaboration so that we can market this new agenda. And for this, government have identified some other sites apart from the private sector industrial parks that we have. We have Dawa, we have West Park, we have Apollonia, we have Silicon. Government has also identified other sectors that site assessment has been undertaken, and which has given us an insight. We are talking about the Greater Kumasi Industrial City, which is a 5,000-acre land, which is in consideration for development. We have the Bursa Agro-Industrial Park, a 3,000-acre in the Upper East region. We also have the Sekendi land of 2,000 acres. You have the Shama Industrial Zone, 3,200. And these are all the sites that government have identified, which have been assessed to be viable to establish industrial parks. But as a flagship project, government is looking at the Greater Kumasi Industrial City project for now. And apart from that, some of the initiatives that government have taken in this industrial development is we've also done a benchmarking and value proposition. We have benchmarked ourselves with our competitors or our peers to see where our weaknesses and strengths are. We've also done a value proposition, how we can be able to market ourselves and attract the needed investment. In addition, government have also received a financial funding from the World Bank, a 200 million World Bank, which objective is to increase private sector investment and firm growth in the non-risk. So some of this is being channeled of our SMEs, and then to create enabling environment for our private sector to come in to develop. So, and in all, government is not doing this alone. We are in collaboration with the private sector. So a technical working group for industrial park and special economic zones have been put in place, which we have the relevant government and private sector institutions. We have LMI Holdings as a member. We have the Apollonia Industrial Park also as a member. We also have the West Park also as a member. So that when we are coming out with the policy and incentives, it will not be only the top-down approach. We are delivering from the grassroots upwards so that all will be involved, so that we can harmonize all the various incentives that government have in the promoting industrial growth in the country. That the one DIP's incentives or location are all started. So we want to have a harmonized system of incentives that will address the different challenges. It will be sector specific, location specific, and then even the idea that these incentives will be harmonized will help us to regulate the sector very well when it comes. So government is putting all these things in place, and the development of the industrial park is not of the vacuum, because if we are expanding our strategic anchor industry, we are creating integrated bauxite alumina industry, iron and steel, petrochemical, vehicle assembly, pharmaceutical, industrial salt, garments and textiles. We need vast lands, litigation-free lands, where these companies can site their industry. So we are identifying these land banks so that it will be easier for the private sector to come in and harness the advantage.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Doc. Thank you very much. Sorry, I was muted. Thank you very much. So, Doc, if I may ask, all these great projects and interesting things and policies that is being cooked at the Ministry of Trade and Industry with regards to industrial parks and the industrialization agenda of the country, when we have the private sector like UKGCC, LMI coming together to host this African Industrial Trade Show like this, within the Temes Free Zone Enclave, how does it help or aid in your agenda? What role does it play in that, Doc?
As I did mention, the industrial transformation agenda initiative is not only being undertaken by government. It's because it's supposed to be private sector led. So we are working together with the private sector so that we can harness the full advantage of the transformation agenda. And in collaborating with LMI and other stakeholders, this will help us to achieve the needed results that we are looking at. And since the whole idea is private sector led, government is working assiduously with the private sector so that we work together for a common goal and for a common result.
All right, thank you very much. Please, the Ministry of Trade and Industry will be represented at the upcoming African Industrial Trade Show, right?
As has been tradition, we've always been partnering with LMI, and we are very good partners, and hopefully we'll be represented at the trade show.
All right. So thank you very much to the participants and to everybody on board. The floor is open for questions. I'm looking into the Q&A chat as we speak. So please, if you also want to speak, you can raise your hand and I'll give you the floor to ask questions. All right, so since I'm not seeing any questions, I would give the floor to Richmond to give me his final words. And then afterwards, I'll come to Madam Nyarko from the GIPC and also move on to Dr. Asiedu. So please, Richmond, the floor is yours for your final words.
Thank you. Final words. Take advantage of this great platform to sell and to also get opportunity to get investors coming to you. We are just maxing the spaces we have allocated, especially for the booth. And so before today ends, if you have not reserved your booth or even registered to take part, visit the AITS website and let's reach out to you to give you some support. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Visit the AITS website. AITS is African Industrial Trade Show. So you can visit that webpage and then you take it up from there. You'll get all the necessary support needed to be a participant in the upcoming trade show. That will be on the 2nd and the 3rd of November. All right, so please, Madam Nyarko, your final words.
Okay, thank you, Richard. Well, I would, from GIP standpoint, say that we are open, our offices are open for any inquiries that relates to investment opportunities in Ghana. And so whoever is interested in getting to know all of these things can get in touch with us. Our offices are in Cantonment, the Vivo building. We can also be contacted through info@gipc.gov.gh. Our interest is that Africa will industrialize and Ghana will be the industrial hub. And so we would encourage all participants and others who would be watching later online to take advantage of this opportunity of joining the African Industrial Trade Show so that together we can help our country grow. Thank you.
Thank you. So you can reach out to GIPC at info@gipc.gov. So please send an email to them to get all the help needed, and they will also link you up to the Industrial Trade Show. Thank you, Madam Nyarko. Dr. Asiedu, please, the floor is yours for your final words, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. As a ministry, we will continue to come out with policies that will help create business-friendly environment for our private sector to thrive on. Our objective is to transform the economy into an industrialized one that will take advantage of the continental free trade with this huge market. If we are not able to produce, add value to our products, have quality values, and improve upon our services, we might not be able to take advantage. And working together with LMI and other stakeholders in the industrial park development agenda, we hope we can get an optimum results at the end. And ours is to encourage participants to take advantage of the African Trade Show, because as a ministry, we have to market all these land banks to attract the needed investments so that we can help develop the economy and help it grow. And we want the economy to grow in production, in livelihood, in taking consideration of ecology, and government will be in also to put in the necessary infrastructure so that this will be a green field for us, so that we will save our economy and take advantage of. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Asiedu. So this was the UKGCC LMI Holdings African Industrial Trade Show webinar. The trade show itself will be held on the 2nd and the 3rd of November, 2022. So that's approximately 13 days to that. All right. Besides visiting the AITS.com website, you can also reach out to LMI Holdings via its hotlines, and the hotlines are 055 20 40,000, 055 20 40,000. And then we also have 055 20 30,000, 055 20 30,000. So basically it's 055 20 4 quadruple 0 and 055 20 3 quadruple 0. So these are the hotlines that you can reach out to AITS via. Okay, So we were so happy that you managed to get the chance and the time to join us on this webinar. You can leave any questions and inquiries also at our webpage, www.aits.com, and then also reach out to the 2 hotlines that I put out there. I would go over the hotlines again, 055-20-40,000 and 055-20-30,000. It was a pleasure moderating this webinar. My name is Richard Eduejapong, and hope to see you next time. Have a lovely time.